Governor Gretchen Whitmer rolled out her budget request for the next fiscal year today in Lansing.
As expected, it followed almost to the letter priorities she talked about 2 weeks ago in her State of the State address.
Political reporter Rick Albin spent the day in Lansing and joins us now with more on what the governor wants and the likelihood that she'll get it. Right?
Well, Brian, to the last point first, the governor, unless something quite unforeseen happens, will get most of what she asked for. Democrats are expected to retake the majority in the House in the next 60 days after special elections. They already control the Senate. The question that remains, somewhat like last year, is will Republicans give her enough votes for immediate effect to allow those bills to become law, even if they don't vote for them in the first place, but that's still months away. We'll deal with that then. First, what does she want? The governor, in front of a joint session of the House and Senate Appropriations Committees, told lawmakers she wants to spend about $81 billion this year. Roughly $20 billion would go to K-12 schools, $60 billion financing all other government. More than half of that amount would go to health and human services, the largest line item in the budget. Later, the governor elaborated on her plans that include universal pre-K that she touted in Grand Rapids earlier this week, as well as affordable housing and a free associate's degree for every graduating high school senior in the state. Governor knows this is just the beginning, but she believes the vision she laid out will benefit the state and will try to get lawmakers to see it in the same light.
We're just starting the process. We've put a vision that really is about lowering people's costs, expanding and growing our economy, and ensuring greater outcomes for our kids and our skills attainment. That's what's centering this work. This, as everyone's going to dig into all the details here, and the work will get started on the legislative side, but we've been working on this for 5 months. We are confident in the choices that were made will help us achieve those goals: lowering people's costs, growing our economy, improving skills attainment and outcomes for our kids.
Not surprisingly, Democrats are largely on board, with Representative Angela Whitmer, the Democratic chair of the House Appropriations Committee, making the case that the state has the money to spend. In a release, she said in part, economists have projected Michigan to have nearly $420 million more in revenue for the 2024 fiscal year than originally projected. I'm committed to approaching this year's budget with the same responsible budgeting and continuing to improve our thriving economy so that we can fund the priorities that are important to our constituents, end quote. But Republicans who are skeptical about the governor's plan in the State of the State are perhaps more dubious of her spending plan. Republican Senate Leader Eric Nesbitt says the governor has missed the mark and the state is suffering.
There's a fundamental issue on Michigan in terms of our regulatory structure, our tax structure, our labor structure. How do we work to compete and win to make sure we have those jobs of the 21st century? And I'm willing to work with anybody on that. Let's get to work. There's some big problems in Michigan, big problems. In education, in infrastructure. The governor went ahead and said she's the roads governor. She ran on it to fix the roads. All we're seeing is higher debt right now out of her budgets and a bunch of public relations.
There is much more to look into the budget, less than 12 hours released, and it's only a beginning document. But as I said at the start of the report, the governor is well poised to get much of what she has asked for, particularly if Republicans vote to allow those final bills to go into effect immediately.